I'd like to know more about psychology. I think it's a very interesting subject to study. I'd like to know why I do the things I do. Looking at how the brain works and how we behave might make me understand people more. I'd particularly like to study child psychology. I love looking at children playing, thinking, drawing, doing anything really. But what makes them tick? What goes on in their little minds? Or perhaps I should say their big minds. If we all knew more about child psychology, perhaps we could do more to be a positive influence on children. Being a psychologist must be a very interesting job. Listening to people talk all day and then analyzing their behavior. I wonder if they ever get I don't understand discrimination. To me it's evil. How can you not think that all people are the same? It doesn't matter what kind of discrimination it is, it's all terrible. People who discriminate because of other people's race, sex or age should be named and shamed. I think there should be really strong laws against all forms of discrimination. Racism is horrible. What difference does it make what color your skin is? The thing that surprises me is that even in the most cosmopolitan cities, racism is everywhere. Sexual discrimination is also stupid. Sexist people have sisters, mothers, wives, daughters, but they still treat women as being less able. I wonder if we'll ever live in a world where we're all equal.
Why does the idea of progress loom so large in the modern world? Surely because progress of a particular kind is actually taking place around us and is becoming more and more manifest. Although mankind has undergone no general improvement in intelligence or morality, it has made extraordinary progress in the accumulation of knowledge. Knowledge began to increase as soon as the thoughts of one individual could be communicated to another by means of speech. With the invention of writing, a great advance was made, for knowledge could then be not only communicated, but also stored. Libraries made education possible, and education in its turn added to libraries. The growth of knowledge followed a kind of compound interest law, which was greatly enhanced by the invention of printing. All this was comparatively slow until, with the coming of science, the tempo was suddenly raised. Our knowledge of the oceans 100 years ago was confined to the two-dimensional shape of the sea surface and the hazards of navigation presented by the irregularities in depth of the shallow water close to the land. The open sea was deep and mysterious, and anyone who gave more than a passing thought to the bottom confines of the oceans probably assumed that the seabed was flat. Sir James Clark Ross had obtained a sounding of over 2,400 fathoms in 1839, but it was not until 1869, when HMS Porcupine was put at the disposal of the Royal Society for several cruises, that a series of deep soundings was obtained in the Atlantic, and the first samples were collected by dredging the bottom. Shortly after this, the famous HMS Challenger expedition established the study of the seafloor as a subject worthy of the most qualified physicists and geologists. A burst of activity associated with the laying of submarine cables soon confirmed the Challenger's observation that many parts of the ocean were 2 to 3 miles deep, and the existence of underwater features of considerable magnitude.
In the 19th century, there were several periods when large numbers of people moved from one place to another around the world. In many cases, people moved to another continent. These mass migrations were on a much larger scale than any previous migrations in history. One major movement was from Europe to the Americas, Australia, and Africa. This migration of Europeans involved around 60 million people over 100 years. Another mass migration was from Russia to Siberia and Central Asia. Another was from China, India, and Japan to Southeast Asia. These large movements of people were made possible by the new cheap and fast means of